Good morning. It's Shana again with Growthward Consulting, and I'm here with one of my most exciting clients, Christy. Christy Byers, if anybody's looking for a connection. And I wanted to interview Christy today because we were talking the other day, and it was so much fun to look back at where she'd been as we were slowness in her quarter, which we'll get to, is specific to a reason. Christy, you and I have been together 6 months. Yep, about 6 months ago. Yeah, we started working together. And when we first started talking, you had a very exciting business. You're very, very deep, really, you're huge in customer service. And you kind of knew then, and it was very relationship based, but not very systematic. Sure. Like messy middle of all agents, where like all this business is coming your way because you're great at when the referrals come in, and you pick up the phone and you return calls, but you were struggling with now there's all this business in your world and you had to take care of it. And there was that 80% you didn't have on hire. The other really cool thing about you was, I think at that point you were 18 to 20 transactions. It was right before the fourth quarter and you didn't really have a goal, right? And I said, okay, well, if there was a place you wanted to finish the year, what would it be? And what did you say?
I said 30 units.
30, right? So we had to do 3 quarters or do another 10 in the fourth quarter. And did you do it?
I did. I actually did.
You did, I think, one more. I think you did. You were shocked. And I think the cool thing is, we were talking right before we hit this recording, the only real thing we did in your business was put schedule in your world. Let's talk a little bit about what your schedule looks like when we first started working together.
It was a hot mess. I am a mother. I have a 5-year, well, just turned 6-year-old. So I basically did real estate anytime I could, no matter what time of night it was, no matter what. I just did not have a set schedule. I was going on appointments. I was working at 11 o'clock at night. I was just all over the place, I would say. So it was a mess.
So the first thing we did was it was so simple. It was like, okay, what is our morning need to look like before noon? Afternoon, it can be complete mayhem. We have to get your boy to school because you didn't, like COVID happened and there was no school, and there was school and there was no school. And it was hard for anybody to maintain a schedule, specifically a parent. And all we did was say, okay, to this time while he's in school, what needs to happen? And we put some systematic growth in them. And I mean, you tell me, do you believe that was the key to that, pushing those transaction growth by the end of the year?
Absolutely. The schedule, the time blocking, how you made it easy for me was great. I was able to focus on the 20%, focus on the things I needed to do. And that's when the deals just started coming in. So it was easy.
Yeah, it was easy. I love that. It was easy. This market is easy, but I love that you said that.
It felt easy.
Yeah. I love that mindset. So talk now the next most important step. I mean, I can tell the story, but I want you to tell the story. Where did we know we needed to go?
Well, at that point when we crushed that goal, it was great. And then we knew that I had hit a ceiling of sorts because again, being a mom, having a life, being a wife, doing everything else and doing these deals and knowing I wanted to do more, it was definitely time for leverage. So it was that time, and that terrified me. You know that.
Yeah. And I think this is a great conversation about it, because you're not on an island. Tell me what was most terrifying.
For me, well, there was a few things. One, could I lead somebody? I've taken all these leadership courses and, but I've never actively stepped into a role like that. So can I do that? That was huge. And then also the weight of having someone that's mine. I'm responsible for her pay. I'm responsible for her happiness. All of that just kind of sat there for me. And honestly, if it wasn't for you at that point, that's usually when I detach and walk away, because I'm like, what I'm doing is fine, so there's no growth. So I know you had to push me through it. Yes.
lovingly talk you through it, right?
Yes, yes.
But understanding, I know that in order for you to take that step, we had to have security. Most afraid of, you're most afraid of leadership. That's conversations, our conversations every week in your follow, afraid of the levity of a salary of, and so how much money do we have set aside? That we knew you were going to take a step back. Everybody takes a step back in business when you take a little bit of time out to go through career visioning, which you crushed. I'm so proud of you for that. Like, you followed every single step. But we know that when you take a step back, specifically as a solo agent, to take on hiring, training someone, creating new systems, there's a certain amount of business you're just not going to take, right? So making sure we had that money in the bank so that stress didn't weigh on you. We did all that because you got through those extra transactions you never thought you'd get through last year. So her into your team late last year, early this year?
February. It was the beginning of February. Yes.
Okay. So I want you to just kind of talk us through, what have you guys done since February? Wow. Because you two together are really crushing it. Like, even just the little basic systems. What has she put in place since February? Starting with my favorite, your database.
Yes, that actually was a conversation we just had this morning on our meeting again, is the importance of the database, because she has, I can say I'm blessed with her. She is amazing. She has wonderful ideas. She was a teacher for 20 years. So systems, checklists, all that stuff, she loves it. I hate it. It's perfect. So with her, she was bringing up some new ideas this morning, and I said, okay, I was able to tie that in. This is where the database comes from. We need these people in there so we can implement these ideas and grow them, because I don't have time to do that, and she enjoys it. That's her thing. She loves it. So, that was the big thing. And that still is our number one focus, is the database, just getting everyone in and getting everyone on a touch plan of some sort. I don't care what it is. So we're going through that. She's, working with her contacts now. I wish I brought her checklist. She has this whole Excel spreadsheet of, goals, what she's doing, and when she's going to
also known as a 30, 60, 90.
Yes. She did it herself. Right. It was great. I mean, I think you mentioned it, and she just ran with it. So,
well, it was really great. The three of us got on a call and said, okay, it's 90 days from today, 30 days with you. Learn the basics, like learn how to do a transaction so that's off your plate. Learn this installation and lock boxes, and like learn that stuff. And then the three of us sitting down and going, everything we did was put her through new agent training, right?
We did.
Which you said why, and I said, there's no better way for her to understand what your job is, because you could have told her this is my job, but you probably wouldn't have told her the right job, right?
No, not at all.
That class of new agent training, she knows your job. Every morning you get a list of how many people that you have to call.
Every morning I get a list. It's at 15 people right now. And it's actually an organized, here's your list. I mean, she sometimes does index cards that are color coded, and it's fun. It just makes it fun. So it's
right. You don't have to think about it. Just show up and call these people. Show up and call your people, right?
Yep.
Give her the list. She takes care of the rest. But then we sat down and said, okay, in 90 days, what does it look like? And now we have a listing presentation that's, an updated, great looking listing presentation, soon to be an updated, great looking buyer presentation, events on the schedule, programs in place, like all the things that you were doing that you shouldn't have been doing and that needed to get done that weren't getting done. Yes. And it's been 45 days.
It has
60 days.
It has.
Right.
And I'm not I don't want to sugarcoat everything. If I could be real here for just a second.
Real. Please be real.
That is even considering making a hire. I'll be honest with you, it is the best thing I've ever done, but it does not come without a little bit of pain, because again, you're slowing down, like Shana has taught me, slowing down to speed up. I am not a slowing down person. So that's been a hurdle for me, huge hurdle. And Shana, you know that. But I can see it now, 45 days into it, that, wow, we are doing these things. We are marketing on my business page. I have a QL code, really cool. You just scan it.
You have a QR code.
Pulls up everything about me. Following up now with referral agents from out of state. These are the things that I just would not have done, honestly. And so we are going to speed up, and it's going to be fun. So,
well, it was a time and focus thing, and it's really cool. It's been just 45 days and now we're back. Like, right, we're back to speeding up every week when we get on the phone. It's like, what was the progress? And there's always something great to report, which is super cool. The other thing that's really, so we have an ad goal for the year, just really quickly. We're going to say it online. I'm just going to push you to say it online to anybody who's watching this. What's your goal for the year?
I am going to do 50 transactions this year, and I will.
Yeah. Sweet. Of course you will. Yeah. The other very cool thing that I'm going to touch on the boundaries we put in place, because you were the no boundary girl. Like many people in the sales industry, you were the no boundary girl, right? Like I don't answer my phone after 7 unless somebody really needs me, which means they call or text, which means I'm on the phone till 11 trying to solve problems that can't be solved, right? Tell me what your day looks like now.
Wow, my day now is amazing, because I like to say, and I think I've talked to you about this too, about the winning by noon. I know you teach that, and it's really neat. So we've time blocked everything to where basically I win by noon. And if I have an appointment to go on in the afternoon, I go on my appointment. It's okay. But I am stopping at 7 o'clock every night. So, and it's not easy. It's still not easy, but honestly, to see my family the way I'm actually closer to my family, I can play games with my child, I can talk to my husband. It's been good. So,
and it's funny, you sent a text, I think it was last weekend, it was your boy's birthday, and you sent a text and you're like, be proud of me, got a call, told her I couldn't answer. Like,
no,
it was just an allowing yourself boundaries, and your business is the same, right? I mean, there's nothing, you're not shortcutting your business or the experience for your clients. You're just putting boundaries in place. There's no problems that you can solve at 8 o'clock at night, right? You're just, so I'm loving that. And then the third big piece is the way that we've incorporated your husband really into our world, and going, hey, I want you two to sit down and tell me in 5 years what's your vision, because he runs a fix and flips, which is another arm of your organization. So he's flipping houses, you're helping sell them, design houses. I know you enjoy it and you guys have a lot of fun. But there was another big piece of it, which was, I need you two to sit down and tell me what's your 5-year vision? Where are we going? What are the different arms of the buyer group, right? The buyers group.
Right. And
what's exciting about that?
That was so huge. I never thought about sitting down and, we're building an empire. So, but I never thought about sitting down and asking him. I know that's so simple, but just asking him what you told me to ask him, which is, where do you see us in 5 years? What are our goals? Let me write some of this down. And, it's important. And I never would have thought of that. And now he's on board. So it's great. So
little simple things that we can do every year that expand your customer service and the experience with your customers, make your life a little bit easier, but also just bring in different sources of income and build the community around you by creating employment. Yeah, there's some exciting stuff on your horizon. I'm really excited.
I'm excited too. Very excited. So
yeah, some stuff which we need to get started on probably in the third quarter. Cool. So if there's one thing that you could share with people, like, look at the last 6 months of your business and your life, really, because we focus on your whole life and your health and fitness and family and relationships, all the rest, and then your business. If there's one or two things that you could share with people specifically right now in this bit, which is it's exciting. We'll call it exciting. We'll call it an exciting market. What would it be?
Oh, I would say, I know there's two things. Okay. So the first thing I would say is, the first thing that came to me, I'm just going to say it because it's true, is trust the process. The process, I know you and I have talked about the messy middle. We've talked about, I've made these steps. I've hired someone, then you slow down a little bit, things change, change is different for everybody. But if you just stick with it and truly trust the process and do what you're supposed to, just make your calls. I see all these training classes and everything else about people that, have such a hard time making the calls. Well, these are your friends. They care about you. They love it when you call them and just say, you don't have to talk real estate. Just say, hey, how's it going? How have you been? That's all you have to say, really. And they talk. trust the process, trust that process. It's there for a reason. Even when it comes to CV, trust the process. I'm so glad I went through it because now I know how to lead my admin. Now I know how to hire other people when it's time. Trust the process with your coaching, trust the process with everything you do. It's going to work. It may take time, but it's going to work. And then stick to your basics. I think that always comes up and comes back. But Shana, you've had to tell me probably our last 3 coaching calls now, just make your phone calls and everything will be okay. And that's basics. That's just basic, simple things. And you're right. Everything is okay because I get on my phone and check on all you're doing is checking on people. So it works. It truly does.
But I think that's such a big challenge for people. It's to overcome your phone calls. It's the what am I going to say thing. And like you say, like these people love you. And the truth is we're making our phone calls because we want to stay in relationship with these people because we are a valid avenue, right? Like, they don't know what they don't know. And when they want them and when they can trust, and that's all you're doing. There's no ulterior motive than to stay in touch with people. You call them if they're going to need you, if they're not going to need you, right? But every single phone call is to build a relationship, right? Every single phone call is to build a relationship. It's always coming from contribution. Some days that call is going to turn into an appointment in business. And some days that call is just going to turn into another great conversation that's your value to them in their world, right?
Right. And some days it's just going to be, I made that person smile today, and that's enough for me. So.
Right. Or some days I can have a great conversation with them about what's happening with inflation in our economy, right? Like put their mind at ease. I mean, that's the best conversation to have right now. And kudos to you for understanding that and understanding how it affects people and interest rates and inflation and the economy. When they're having those conversations with you and they're scared, you can help them, right? You can talk them through it. The outcome is you can help them find peace in all of it with their real estate investments, right? And yours as well. Just really cool to watch you and David grow that way.
We're definitely growing, and it's thanks to you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh, well,
great. So
thank you. I just get to be a great sounding board and a good guide, but I love and appreciate you so much. And every week I tell you, like, you're part of my California lineup, and I love, or my California is that day and you're that day as well. And I love chatting with you because you just bring me so much. You're ready, you're coachable, you're learning based. And I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you for being vulnerable and
thank you.
Thank you for being vulnerable story. And helping others see, like you say, follow the path, trust in the process, do the basics, and the rest will show up, right?
It will.
Your goals will show up. Okay.
It really will. Well, thank you, Shana.